I'm a Cartoon Network Punch Time Explosion goes about answering a fabled question. Who would win in a battle? Buttercup, or Chowder, or Ben Tennyson, or Grimm? Okay, so maybe it isn't a fabled question, but it did provide Cartoon Network fans with the means to have that question answered. Now, on the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, and Wii, Cartoon Network Punch Time Explosion XL offers more of everything. More characters, more levels, more modes, and especially more polish. Even though it still has its flaws, Punch Time Explosion XL provides a decent multiplayer experience, especially to fans of the series. Punch Time Explosion XL is a fighting game akin to the Super Smash Bros. Series, except instead of Nintendo favorites, the game has a large assortment of characters spanning a number of Cartoon Network franchises. These range from the newbie Chef Chowder to young adventurer Flapjack, as well as older franchises such as the Powerpuff Girls and Dexter Boy Genius. The XL edition adds a total of 8 new characters into the mix, including Johnny Bravo, but even so, there is some uneven representation on the lineup. Certain favorites such as Kurt's Cowardly Dog and Ed, Edd and Eddy seem entirely absent, as do newer cartoons like Adventure Time, while more recent Ben 10 Alien Force gets plenty of characters in focus. In the game's story mode, Cartoon Network's characters are brought together by a great calamity. All of the show's villains are joining forces and destroying each world. Thankfully for us and our bystander of an announcer, Ben Tennyson and many of our other heroes join forces to prevent the end of all dimensions. Starting from Chowder's world, the adventure sends players through a multitude of locales, including Dexter's Lab and Townsville. Players jump and run through platforming stages, occasionally stopping to fight off hordes of enemies, and at times, players will have to fight corrupted characters and the series' villains. The quality of these stages are varied, from pretty active and fun to disinteresting and long. Some tweaks have been made to improve earlier stages and a number of the game's boss fights, including a revamped Kevin Levin battle and a new Toiletnator fight in the Kids Next Door world. The XL version has a brand new co-op mode in case the areas start to get a little boring, which it can after some extended playtime. Saving the world with more than one person definitely improves the game. The gist of the game, however, is in the battle mode, where players can duke it out in the many game worlds around. You have to unlock the characters via the story mode or other means, but once you start getting a large roster of characters and levels, the mayhem can really start. The main gameplay element in Punch Time Explosion XL is to knock the other players out of the level, and each character has their own arsenal of special attacks to do that. Beyond basic special attacks, each character has a super attack, their Punch Time Explosion, which usually obliterates everything in its path. These attacks are quite animated, but thank goodness they sped them up in this version. The 3DS one takes way too long and cuts into the battle, whereas the XL attacks are much more integrated and into each match. Besides those attacks, there are also items which spawn in particular spots at each level, including a teddy bear gun and an assist cube, which spawns assist characters to join the fray. Furthermore, new to the XL version of this game is yet another special action, the Synergy attack, in which players and their assist characters join up for a Punch Time Explosion-like attack. These make the battles more intense, and when the levels are as energetic as they are in this version, stages become chaotic zones of destruction. From attacking koi fish to giant robots and flying monsters, most of the game's levels are made for fun frenzies with friends. Beyond the normal battle modes, players can duke it out in PTE mode, where you need the most energy orbs to win, Drone mode, where the winner beats the most baddies in the time limit, and Arcade mode, which adds a mini-story for each character as they battle through the whole game's roster. While playing both story and battle modes, you obtain points which can be used to purchase the new characters, 5 new levels, alternate costumes, and short clips from each of the shows represented in-game. It makes for some added replayability, especially to those interested in Cartoon Network lore. All of these enhancements are great and all, but there are some issues that cannot be ignored. For one, the presentation of the game, despite its added polish, is still uneven in the 360. Models do not move aligned with one another, sometimes animations seem slower than they should be, voice work and sound effects have trouble with volume levels, and at sometimes, the voices don't even seem to fit the characters at all, although a few original actors have been added in this version. The game's cutscenes are improved with more animations, but the voice samples feel off. Only the announcer speaks full sentences, and yet each character has phrases that occasionally pop up in odd places.
I'm Blossom!
Yes, we know who you are! Transitions are a bit sudden and jarring to the experience, and I still do not know why after a single battle we are sent back to the main menu. It's little things like these that build up and cheapen the experience, but considering this is a budget title in the end, you might be able to look over a few of the uneven elements of the game. What cannot be looked over, however, is the AI. When playing alone, the computers will almost constantly attack you and nobody else, even when an ally is fighting alongside you. This makes the battles less interesting and more frustrating. How can I expect to land a hit when all other fighters prefer me to die first? Also, the controls might be a little confusing initially, but they become more integrated over time, especially when you can edit the button assignments. Make no mistake about it, Cartoon Network Punch-Out Explosion XL is a great enhancement of the 3DS version and shows just how much a difference a few months more of development can make. The battles are more intense, there are more characters, levels, and modes to help mix things up. In spite of all the additional tweaks and content, there are still a few issues to be found. Single-player elements are somewhat unfair, and the story mode drags if you're a bit near the end, without some multiplayer assistance. Playing alone, this game is not too enjoyable if you do not care for the Cartoon Network characters. But if you have friends to join you, or if you really enjoy these Cartoon Network shows together, then you will going to have a smashing good time.
Unstoppable!